Lessons for Overcoming Poverty by Malinda E. Cramer. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Ask, and ye shall receive. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. That which a man soweth, the same shall he also reap. Such as I have, give I unto thee. Poverty means destitution of property, want of convenient means of subsistence, any deficiency of resources that are needed or desired, especially a lack of sentiment or words. What is poverty to a gentleman is competence to a day labourer. These are Webster's definitions of poverty. To speak on the negative side of things, there are different kinds of poverty. Any deficiency of resources that are needed or desired would come under that head. There may be poverty of thought, of feeling, of purpose. If so, it must show out in want of words, a lack of harmonious sensation and desire for the ability to do good. While we are acknowledging lack within ourselves, lack of happiness, lack of health, or a lack of success along any line we desire to succeed in, we are claiming deficiency of resources and are giving out what we do not wish to receive at the hands of others as full measure, pressed down and running over. We are sowing what we do not enjoy reaping. So, there seems to be poverty of happiness, of good feeling and pure motive, as well as of food, raiment and shelter. But there is no reason why this should seem to be so. The supreme source and cause can never admit this seeming to a place among its own. It is not the outcome of knowledge, but the result of ignorance. Then, to do away with all seeming deficiency of resources is to know truth, which makes free, is to have knowledge of things as they are and work the law that is all prosperous. Knowledge is always a remedy for ignorance. In this enlightened age, when there are so many scientists who have found their good and are demonstrating the law of affluence, every person should be encouraged to believe that what has been done can be done. What is for another to enjoy is for me to enjoy. Each one should encourage himself to believe that I can accomplish what others have accomplished. When the majority of people know how to live, they will make truth the law of the land and will govern it accordingly. They will be a law unto themselves, and unhappiness, sickness and poverty will be among the bygones of the past. True spiritual education will have revealed to them that happiness is within themselves, will have revealed the unfailing health and absolute success of their own being. They will have located their good in being, which will enable them to demonstrate it. Some say it is a disgrace to be financially poor, but we need not add the word disgrace to it. In divine science, students are first taught what beings' power and possibilities are, and how they can make them manifest. Mental poverty leads to all other kinds, so to speak. Let us not be poor in thought or belief, and we shall know that there are no barriers in the way of our demonstrating the freedom and fullness of truth in all our ways. In our present occupation, there is not sufficient business to bring the income necessary for the needs of those depending upon it. You naturally ask, how shall I increase it? We would answer by first knowing the fact and valuing it, that you are the business manager, that you are the maker and creator of your own conditions, that you can manage your business in perfect accord with the universal law of success, and that you cannot work against the law and do anything without running against seeming obstacles. Thousands of divine scientists have testified to the increase of business through applying its principles, and those who have not as yet demonstrated can do so. It was and is intended by the Creator that we succeed, be happy and healthy. You may desire health. How will you get it? First, acknowledge that it is located where you can have free access to it. You have lost your health. Then to find it, you must be where it is. That which is lost cannot be found unless you are in the place where it is. You must either go to it, or it must come to you, or you must discover that both are in the same place. Recognize that the seeming lost health is in being, and then say, I am it. I am health, and am demonstrating it now. The way to prove that you are not poor in health is to commence to be health itself. If you want to be happy, do the same. Recognize that it is innate, then give it full play in your thought, feeling, and in all things you do. Finding the source of all things in being, where you can get at them, opens the way for their demonstration. It does away with all anxious desire, worry and fretting, with hope deferred and erroneous anticipations of the future. This is truly conquest of poverty. It is being the fund of wealth desired, that knows no lack. It is the finding that follows true seeking. It is the receiving that follows true asking. It is that which is given unto you when you give yourself credit for being godlike and doing as He does and having the same results. There are no obstacles of duality in this conquest. The overcoming of poverty is not merely personal or individual. It is universal, individual, and personal. Some may say, since there is no poverty, how can one speak intelligently on the overcoming of poverty? The overcoming is the conquest of false beliefs. Every erroneous belief of lack of whatever nature and the conditions resulting therefrom. I am the conquest. I am the resurrection. I am the manifester of success, health, and happiness. Our inheritance is God. We should say understandingly, such as I have, give I thee. And then to give out of that which we have. This will soon bring the realization that giving and receiving, externally speaking, go hand in hand and are never separated. It will prove that having includes demonstration, that being includes right doing in the right time and place. We are really and truly enjoying a realization of true wealth, true overcoming, true conquest by what we give out of that which is potential within. It seems paradoxical to say we have just what we give, or that we receive just that for which we ask and reap just what we sow. We cannot sow one kind of seed and reap another. We cannot ask for one thing and be given another. If we ask for bread, God will not give a stone. If we truly give, we do not lose what we have, for ye shall receive is the law of balance, the justice, love, and goodness that sustains the universe in order and supreme harmony. He who overcomes seeming poverty knows no lack, no law by which poverty can be brought about and made real. In this conquest, we know that there is a power of equalization, a law of justice that has said, give and ye shall receive, that will prevent one class of people from impoverishing another class. That law is working now and will continue forever. If there were not enough in the world for the necessities and comfort of all people, outside of the accumulation of wealth held by trusts, this law of equalization would distribute what they had in store. It would not remain hoarded up for one moment. There are no vaults or safes that could prevent the law of justice from distributing what was therein contained, if there were not enough outside for the happiness of every person. Such is the comfort, rest, and certainty of one who truly understands and has demonstrated over poverty. To him, the universe is a just one. Its law is love. It is beneficent in all places at all times. There is no need to fear coming to want at any time, in any place, under any conditions or circumstances. This law is operative for every individual. Rest, ye children of God, and cease your striving. Divine science is a great working and equalizing power in the world. Let everyone who wants to help wield its power to silently and openly arbitrate matters where there is seeming disagreement, instead of resorting to conflict, study deeply into the impersonal principles of science and apply them. Individually, we must each be givers and receivers. Do the things we would have done unto us. We should lovingly receive and appreciate our being treated by others as we have treated them. We should not receive to ourselves any other kind of treatment. How shall we begin to give? You say. I have nothing to spare. I cannot afford to give. I must receive before giving. Then know that the only receiving there is before giving is the willingness on our part to admit that we are heirs of God and joint heirs with Christ, that all that our Father has is ours, and all that is ours is our Father's, for we are one. Now is the accepted time, the time to accept all that rightly belongs to us. Now you have received, then you should begin giving. Now is the time to be healthy, wealthy, and happy. Give out health, give out the wealth of your being, give out its true happiness. The author has practiced this and has experienced the working of the law of opulence in every conceivable way. She has no fear of coming to want, no consciousness that such a thing as real poverty can be. She knows that it is impossible to desire what she should not have, hence cannot desire what she cannot have. If anyone had told her before she realized truth that she could or would carry on the responsible work and accomplish the vast amount that she does from day to day, she would have thought and said impossible. Since knowing that being is the law of supply, she is free to undertake what should be accomplished, whether the money is in hand or not, knowing that the demand for the work contains the supply, that there is a spirit omnipresent in all who distributes where it belongs. Where once she would have been nerved to a very high tension over conditions, she now sees no power in them and no place for them, and is at rest in her work. He that scattereth increaseth. We cannot gain riches along true lines by doing poor work. We should put our whole mind and soul in what we do, and not be poor in concentration, in attention, or in determination. Our attention must be given to our work to do it well. No one ever achieved greatness who allowed himself to be turned from his course or switched about by every wind of doctrine. To practice truth, go alone a few minutes, as often as convenient, with the consciousness of what being is, and affirm the truth. Then go forth and practice it in thought, word, and act. Think and say, I am affluent, until you feel that it is so. Then yield not your point of realization to old habits of speech and lines of thought, but hold on steadfastly to the realization that I am affluent, though there is not a penny in the purse or even in prospect in the ordinary view of things. Spiritually speaking, if you are one with God, money is yours just as much before it comes into your hand as it is after. Therefore, know that he who works all things together for good, according to his own infinite bounty, knows that ye have need of these things. If I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. None of us desire to reap the reward of poor sowing or to eat the bread of poverty. We want a good bountiful harvest and the living bread of which, if we eat, we shall not die. To store up a harvest of good and to partake of the true bread in the right way is desirable to all. Behold, the fields are ripe and ready for harvest. Now is always the harvest time, spiritually speaking. In reaping, we may gather tares in terms that people may come to us with numerous undesirable experiences. But the first thing to be done is to bundle them all together to be burned, consumed by the fire. Thus we gather the good unto ourselves. We find that our storehouse is always full of good things. The practice of truth means constant sowing, constant reaping, and constant supply. The author has no desire to say anything upon this subject that has not been her privilege to demonstrate. One can speak with authority of those things which they have actualized in their life. Divine science is a living actualization in her daily work. Its law is demonstrable for everyone who will go to the depths of its principles and apply them personally. When you read or listen to this glorious truth and great principle of opulence, do not try to find in your imagination another way by which its demonstration could have taken place. Never allow yourself to say, it would have happened anyway. Other people are healthy, happy and successful who are not scientists. People can get themselves into such a mixed mental state by speaking in this way that it is not an easy matter for them to discern truth enough to be happy any place under any circumstances or to harmonize with any surroundings. It is true that people often demonstrate temporarily along the various lines of success and accomplishments without studying science, but they are as apt to lose it as to gain it. There is no deep sense of rest or certainty in connection with their possessions. They are just as fearful of losing as they are eager to gain. While with scientists there is the certainty of knowledge, the rest of being, and the opulence of an unfailing law. When you have read a science lesson or listened to the teachings of science, or when you have made your affirmations, do not turn from truth by murmuring about your conditions and affirm sickness and happiness and poverty for yourself. Do not murmur against the spiritual authority of anyone, for with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. Miriam, the sister of Moses, rebelled against his authority, and her punishment was that she was stricken with leprosy. Rebel not, resist not. We should each attend strictly to our Father's business, the business of the origin of all things. We cannot murmur against another, for one is all. We can murmur only against ourselves. The habit of doing so is liable to show out in almost any undesirable condition. Think and say to and of others, your authority is all right. I am also authority insofar as I choose to recognize and practice truth. Say, nothing can prevent my own from coming to me. There is nothing to prevent my being healthy, happy, and affluent. Do not always scrimp yourself to succeed, but remember, such as I have, give I thee. God loves a cheerful giver, Treat yourselves until you have a realizing sense of being the principle of supply, even the law of success. All good should be accepted and handled with loving hearts. In the old way of seeing things and becoming by and by, if any seeming trouble rose, the thought was, we are under its influence. We naturally fretted and chafed because of its supposed dominion and belief of our subjection. In the new and living way, we stand and moved, knowing our eternal dominion, that we are able to abound in all good things, even to the riches of the infinite whole. We thus continue the even tenor of our way. It may rain, hail, and storm, mentally speaking, but we do not forget who we are or what manner of spirit we are of. To be rich in being is to be rich in mentality, and is to be rich visibly. Then let us lay hold of the riches of being, locate our wealth, so that we can prove our opulence. Let us sow freely, give forth full measure, and we shall reap bountifully and receive abundantly. Let us affirm, I am health. God is the health of his people. I am success. God is unlimited success. I am happy. God is supreme happiness. I am not poor in health. I am not poor financially. I am not poor in happiness. I have given what is given unto me. I have received what I have asked for. I have knocked, and the source of all good has opened unto me. I have sown from this source, and have reaped its bountiful harvest. I have given such as it contains. The all is the Creator and creation. We individually are givers and receivers. Prayer of thankfulness. O thou holy presence, in whom we all live and breathe and carry on our living work, we love to exalt thee as all in all and glorify thy name as wholeness. We rejoice in thee, O supreme all, as our abiding place forever. We rejoice that in thee we live, are moved, and are that none of thy children are outside the fold of unity, which is thy unfailing protection. We are thankful that all are in thy loving embrace. May the heart of thy blessed humanity be turned to this sustaining and comforting truth. May it find thy health, thy happiness, and thy bounty to be its very own. Our thankfulness consists in our realization that all things are ours, and that while we are yet asking, it is given.